Welcome to UNCAGED, a show that celebrates thought leadership from today's top business leaders. The program provides a voice to amazing executives from around the globe who are shaping the world of business today and mapping the path to the commerce of tomorrow. Today, we are speaking with Samuel Sells. Hey, Samuel, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I am very, very well, and I'm excited to talk to you about the work that you're doing. Sam is the Chief Executive Officer of Wild Mountain Capital. They're looking at the process of providing capital in a different way. And so the idea is basically to transform the most neglected and distressed things like affordable housing into healthy, well-governed communities that are affordable, really applying kind of a different methodology for the capitalistic paradigm. And so we'll get into what Sam is building and his team has been shaping over the last couple of years at Wild Mountain Capital. But before we get there, Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself and your career.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show and for the opportunity to speak with you. So, I'm a retired Air Force guy, but I started flipping home, working in this industry in the early 2000s, and really kind of made it through the. I have to apologize, my 4-year-old's in the background.
No worries, no worries.
Yeah, so I started flipping homes, doing that rehab thing, way back in the early 2000s. I made it through the 2008 crashes because I just always have been focused on that. Very, very low basis, places where homes are most important. And then, while I was in the military, I spent the last 10 plus years engaged in helping foreign countries develop or enhance their healthcare systems. And it was really during that time that I learned that government policies and monies will never be able to fix these significant issues that lead to lack of housing, lack of health care, lack of financial security. And it really kind of came to me one time that speaking with a leader in West Asia, and it, I realized that I have to get his incentives aligned for this thing to work. And once I did that, aligned it with him and helped him to see how he physically profited or he got better off, it changed his outlook, and then it changed the whole system there in that country because he started giving a crap for the for the better sense of the word, and so came back, and as I was getting towards the end of my military career, I thought, how do I go and impact the world in a big way? And I thought about my past 10, 12 years and thought, I've learned about these incentives. Let's see if we can go do this. Let's go try and tackle this housing security issue that we have in America.
Yeah, and I see that is really the core focus right now for Wild Mountain Capital. So tell me more about how that's shaped and where you guys are going right now.
Yeah, so we started early. I started with my dad and my brother, convinced my brother to come out of special operations. And, he's very hands-on, loves to be on the ground, works with people of every background and challenging situations. He loves that stuff, which was perfect. And then my dad with 30 plus years of construction experience, people say, oh, I don't necessarily want to work with family, and I think, well, who else is going to work for free at the beginning? And so we started out with mobile home parks, and COVID hit, and that just really slowed us down a lot in their area between financing, securing debt, securing capital, and we transferred over into multifamily, and we haven't had any issues since. Well, there's been issues, but we've been able to ramp that up quite speedily and had a lot of success there in the multifamily space.
So tell me more about what exactly it would look like if someone worked with you guys at Wild Mountain Capital.
Yeah, great question. So we operate a little bit differently, right? So our main focus is to take on these incredibly distressed, sometimes not quite as distressed, visually, but very, whether it's poor property management or ownership, something that has caused a lot of distress to that place, and it just becomes run down. There's crime there, there's some other issues. And so investors will syndicate, and so we'll bring on regular folks who can invest just like they would into a institution, except there's no middleman. So if you're investing in a REIT, a real estate investment trust, you're giving a large institution money that's going to go do exactly what we're doing, except they're taking a portion of your profits.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're more directly focused on what's happening, and you also know what's happening with your money. So investors can come connect with us and join us as we go and tackle a deal. We also do joint ventures with large institutions. So we closed our last property in Dallas, Fort Worth that was distressed with large institution, multi-billion-dollar company. We've done joint ventures with private investors, but the goal is all the same, right? It's to tackle this, affordability crisis in America by doing it in the multifamily space and in a way that is highly impactful, both from a return on investment and impactful to the residents themselves and to the communities.
So we find ourselves in a crazy year, with the economy and lots of talk about inflation and the R word and all of those lovely things of, recession. Oh, what does that mean? Tell me a little bit about the big trends that you're seeing in your space. I mean, is the inflation stuff weighing on you guys, or how are you thinking about that?
Yeah, inflation is real, right? I mean, I don't think anyone can deny that. The financial policies have been frustrating. And I say that from I got my master's degree in health policy. I spent a lot of time on the policy side, working from DC to working down at the ground level in Africa, Asia, Europe, wherever, trying to see how the policies are taking effect, and then being on the ground level with effectively planning these different engagements and how we make those sustainable. So policy and what's on the ground has been disjointed, and it's easy. If you're in DC, you should know that policy and how the effects and ramifications are easy to get disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, we find ourselves in this interesting situation. It's affected us on the on real estate side. It's been great for all the properties that we currently own. It's been difficult for trying to acquire new places. And so our underwriting has become extremely stringent to try and ensure that if we can't make a difference there and we can't make money doing it, we just can't do it. It's not sustainable, right?
Yeah, it's finding that kind of sweet spot where you can make the difference, but you can do it in a way that's truly sustainable, which totally makes sense to me. Over the last couple of years, we've gone through this wild pandemic, and you've really focused on this space that you guys are in through the lovely years before the pandemic to through the pandemic to today. I'm just curious to get a sense of what insights you have for us and perhaps how that kind of changed the way you guys did business.
Yeah. So, reflecting back to the 2008 crisis, and we are not in 2008 right now. If anybody, I know that's a popular thing to throw around in the media. It scares people, causes them to do action. Great. That's a great scare tactic. We are not in 2008 right now. Banks are not collapsing. We're just not there. But the lessons that I've learned were, in 2008, we got through it just fine because our basis was low and we were cash flowing. Okay. And so right now we're doing that same model that no matter what happens, if our basis is relatively low to the market, meaning that we got a property at a discount to the market, and it cash flows or will cash flow shortly, then we're in a pretty good position, period. Right. Now, as investors in multifamily, we can buy a property and hold on to it in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know where the market's going to be in 10 years, but if we're cash flowing that whole time, we're doing great. Right.
Yeah.
But what's different is when you're investing in a way that makes a difference, not only are you making money, but because you know where your money's going, how it's impacting lives, people's lives are getting better, dramatically better. And I could share tons of anecdotes from time walking the properties and other things over the past 4 years that we've been doing this. it's remarkable. So what we can continue to have this huge impact, and we're still cash flowing, we're still making money. And so if your return goes from, let's say, 20% annually or annualized down to 15% annualized, that's better than negative 30% in the stock market, right?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And so it's trying to kind of keep that model going. I think that will be the key to success going forward. Sam, here we are, 2022, lots of stuff going on. I'm going to ask you to be a little bit of the short-term Nostradamus here, which is, what do you see on the horizon for the rest of this year and next?
What we're seeing is a lot of the smaller players are getting out of the market because they're just getting priced out. I'm really concerned for a lot of those who are syndicating based off of the beauty of a property class A, because their basis is really high and their cash flow is really low. And so those things concern me. And, but that being said, what I see is that people, as more and more attention gets put onto the affordability crisis, I think, and the newer generation is coming up, is far more concerned with, clean energy, clean eating, and our emphasis is clean money. Invest in a way that's going to better our futures. I think that's just going to get stronger and stronger. And I think, I hope that short-term Nostradamus says that this is going to continue and become a bigger, boulder rolling down the mountain and gathering up other rocks as we all go down to improve the future of our country.
Sam, I think we have a new nickname for you, short-term Nostradamus. I love it. I love it. Sam, if someone wanted to reach you and learn more about what Wild Mountain Capital is doing, where's the best place to find you?
Yeah, so you can reach out, please. There's info@wildmountaincapital.com. That'll reach my team. If you want to reach out to me directly, sam@wildmountaincapital.com, all spelled out. Go to our website, wildmountaincapital.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I just started, look, I'm 40 years old, so this stuff is all, learning how to get there better. Also just started a clean money podcast where we're talking to so many different people out there who are trying to do good and make money doing it, and which is better for investors. So, if you want to become part of something bigger than yourself, where you're making a difference in other people's lives, but you still are working your job, this is a great way to do that.
I like that. I like that phrase, doing good while making money at the same time. Is a good idea for sure, Sam. Well, we've been speaking with the Chief Executive Officer of Wild Mountain Capital, which aims to change people's lives by transforming the most neglected and distressed affordable housing into healthy, well-governed communities that are affordable. Sam, thanks so much for being on the podcast and webcast today, and we look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.